Appropriations Committee to order. We have 25 bills today to hear, but only one of which are suspense items. We have two other measures still listed in the daily file that will not be heard today. That's SB 909 by Senator Bell. It was approved as a 28.8, so no hearing is necessary. And my measure, SB 959, was rescheduled for a later hearing. As usual, I remind our audience and members that testimony should be limited to the fiscal aspects of the bill. Please refrain from lengthy policy discussions in your comments. And if we can get sergeants to call Senator Anderson. And while we wait for Senator Anderson, I want to welcome the newest member of our appropriations team, Norisha Bonaktar, who's here. Welcome to Team Approps. It's great to have you. And then also Senator Jerry Hill's birthday today. Happy birthday, Senator Hill.
Thank you very much.
Who says we don't have feelings in appropriations? Eh?
I know better.
As we wait, I think we're going to just move down the file so we can get through our agenda. We're going to begin with the suspense items. We can't do it? Okay, so we're waiting for a quorum.
Sorry.
So we have Senator Jackson here. Senator Jackson, welcome. Senator Jackson, you're presenting on two items, I believe?
That is correct.
Two items. Let's begin with SB 1375.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Thank you for the opportunity to present this measure before you today. This measure would require all schools that receive federal funding to post on their website the name and contact information of their Title IX coordinator, the rights of a pupil in the public and the responsibilities of the school under Title IX, and a description of how to file a complaint under Title IX. It additionally requires school districts to include the aforementioned information in their annual parental notification packet. And lastly, it would require the state superintendent of public instruction to electronically send an annual letter to all schools to remind them of this responsibility. In January of last year, the Senate Judiciary Committee held an informal hearing to better understand how our schools are complying with Title IX. The results, sadly, were not very reassuring. And remembering that Title IX has been on the books for decades, the fact is that we are discovering that many schools don't have Title IX programs, they don't know who their Title IX people are, that they have not made this information available to their students or parents. We heard from the United States Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights and the California Department of Education. Both testified that many schools and school districts were literally unaware of what is required of them under Title IX. And whereas many people correlate Title IX with gender equity in interscholastic athletics, many are unaware that Title IX forbids discrimination on the basis of sex in any federally funded education program activity. This includes protections against gender bias, gender-based harassment, and sexual violence, all issues which sadly are in virtually epidemic proportions today. And as a result, we regularly learn of numerous legal actions taken by the Federal Office of Civil Rights and Equal Rights Advocates against schools and school districts for Title IX violations. These actions come at the cost of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in public funds that are being used to defend our schools for violations that could have been easily avoided if they were just simply made aware of their responsibilities and took the necessary proactive steps to follow what is actually a 45-year-old law. Although state funds continue to be limited, we just simply cannot continue to allow students and their families and the public to be uninformed about their federal equal protection rights that are afforded to them under Title IX. I do understand the bill is going in suspense because of its perceived cost, but I believe the costs of doing nothing are far greater. And for the amount of money that we're talking about here, this would be an opportunity for us to really get on the right track, one we should have been on for the past 45 years. And so I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Senator. Witnesses in support.
Thank you, Chair Lara and members of the committee, and Senator Jackson for allowing me to speak today. My name is Kim Turner. I'm a staff attorney with the Legal Aid Society Employment Law Center, a 100-year-old nonprofit serving all of California and beyond. My project within the Employment Law Center, Fair Play for Girls in Sports, has worked for more than a decade to ensure schools follow Title IX, the federal law requiring equity in education, including athletic programming. We support SB 1375 requiring federally funded schools in California to post the name and contact information of the school's Title IX coordinator, along with the Title IX rights, responsibilities, and complaint procedures today. My organization is part of the California Title IX Coalition, along with the California Center for Research on Women and Families, Equal Rights Advocates, AUW California, the California Women's Law Center, and the ACLU of Southern California, a coalition working throughout California to ensure Title IX compliance to provide discrimination-free educational environments for our students and wider school communities. Based on our day-in and day-out work and experience in Title IX matters, we are acutely aware of the lack of information available to students, their families, and others in school regarding Title IX rights and responsibilities. Simply put, students are not currently getting clear information about the designated Title IX coordinator and the processes to be followed to effectively bring a Title IX complaint. This glaring information gap hinders gender equity in education. We believe SB 1375 will further compliance to the benefit of all. In 2014, the coalition piloted the Title IX compliance checklist to assess Title IX compliance in a handful of California communities. Checklist results revealed at the January 2015 California Senate Judiciary Committee hearing convened by Senator Jackson that the majority of high schools assessed did not publicize information about how to contact the Title IX coordinator. And even where the coordinator's information is available, the process for raising inequity issues is far from straightforward. For example, at one high school, the community team assessing Title IX compliance had to call 5 different phone numbers to locate the Title IX coordinator. And at another school, the human resources director did not know he was the Title IX coordinator. The Equal Rights Advocates 2015 report, Ending Harassment Now, Keeping Our Kids Safe at School, revealed many schools have not necessarily designated a Title IX coordinator at all, and that complaint processes are not properly functioning in many areas of California. Moreover, this law will not only aid in disseminating critical information, we believe it could serve to permit schools and districts to more effectively and efficiently address Title IX complaints at the local level, potentially lessening the need for litigation and related expenses that arise when complaint procedures break down. Thus, the need for SB 1375 is great to ensure students, their families, and school community members can readily identify, locate, and utilize key Title IX information. On behalf of the Legal Aid Society Employment Law Center, we support SB 1375 to ensure schools properly share Title IX information to once and for all spur compliance to ensure Title IX's protections are available to help our students learn and thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
Jacqueline Wong Hernandez with the Department of Finance. We have not taken a position on this bill, but we agree with the committee that it would create a reimbursable state mandate, potentially in the tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, to do the website posting at the local level.
Thank you. Before we continue, let's establish our quorum. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Here.
Laura here. Bates? Here. Bates here. Bell? Bell here. De Leon? Hill? Hill here. Mendoza? Nielsen? Nielsen here.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Jack. Oh, go ahead, Senator Hill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. It's my assumption then that every school district must have a Title IX coordinator.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Just finding out who that is the challenge. Thank you.
Actually, if I may, through the chair, many school districts don't even know that they're supposed to have one, so they don't. And as was mentioned when we had the testimony, the HR head, by default, acknowledged or learned by that very default that it, I guess, must be me. And so in a law that's 45 years old, when there's so little knowledge of what is required, I would consider this to be a very small step, and the cost being so minimal in order to gain that level of opportunity and to protect students as was intended by this law 45 years ago. And with that, I will close.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Jackson. Without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Your second item is SB 1435.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Senator Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members, and thank you for the opportunity to present this measure before you today. SB 1435 would require the Health Framework for California Public Schools to include comprehensive information on the development of healthy relationships and be age and developmentally appropriate. This bill is the natural next step in our efforts to reduce incidents of sexual assault, harassment, and bullying in our schools and colleges. This bill follows SB 967 from 2014, California's Yes Means Yes law, and SB 695 from last year, which requires all high schools that require a health course for graduation to include curriculum in sexual assault and harassment awareness and prevention through its Healthy Relationships program. In order to help students develop the social and emotional skills necessary to build these healthy relationships with their peers and to help reduce incidences of sexual assault, harassment, and peer-to-peer violence, additional efforts are needed to provide age and developmentally appropriate learning opportunities in elementary and middle school. The statistics are stark. Research shows that about 1 in 3 U.S. teens ages 14 to 20 have been victims of dating violence, and about the same number say they've actually committed relationship violence themselves. Nationwide, 12% of 9th to 12th grade girls have been physically forced to engage in sexual intercourse when they did not want to, and 22% have been the victim of physical abuse, sexual abuse, or threats of physical violence. We know that education and prevention are critical to combating these figures. From a fiscal perspective, the less we do, the more it will cost us in the long run. And in order to do more, all the data shows that we really need to drill down into elementary schools and work to provide proactive educational efforts, which are developmentally appropriate, to help our youth understand and learn how to treat one another with dignity and respect. Sadly, these are things in today's society, as we see more violence in video games, in movies, in media, we have to make sure that there is that offset so that while children see these things and that, violence has been something that's existed for years, the key is that they are not also understanding and learning about compassion and empathy, which are essentially the antidotes to this violence. Children need to learn how to respect each other, how to relate to each other, using their words and not their fists. And as much as it may seem ridiculous that we have to do this, it is clear that as our society is introduced to greater and greater violence, we have to make sure that that antidote of compassion and empathy and interactions and respect are made available and encouraged and brought forward at the earliest possible years. If we do not know to provide these efforts to reduce the sexual assault and bullying, which we're seeing more and more, particularly on the internet and areas where there is that anonymity and peer-on-peer violence, we're going to continue to have to reactively allocate the funding to respond to these situations rather than acting prospectively to help avert them from happening in the future. This is a proactive approach, and one I hope this committee will pass out of suspense at the appropriate time. With that, I would thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
John Lovell, on behalf of the California College and University Police Chiefs Association. Senator Jackson said it all. This is a proactive, smart, fiscal approach. You do this at the front end, and the excessive costs of investigating these cases, which, frankly, sexual assaults occur disproportionately in a campus environment, those themselves will be tamped down. We strongly support this bill.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
We believe that this bill would result in minor non-Prop 98 general fund costs.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Senator Nielsen.
Senator, I'm certainly in sympathy. I do, though, have a question. How will the schools determine, as we expand this kind of education, K-12, there are sensitivities at what kind of information are brought to students at given ages? Say kindergarten, first grade, preschool. There are certain subjects that have to be treated differently at that level as opposed to early teens, et cetera. How do schools, what will be their guidelines?
Well, there are experts in what are age and developmentally appropriate procedures. We do this, Senator Nielsen, in the whole area of sexual assault. We teach young children what are appropriate touchings, what are inappropriate touchings. We teach them to say no, don't do that, at different levels, talking to our youngest about using their words, for example, not their fists. I mean, there are experts who are able to recognize what's most effective for different ages, and certainly this will require, this legislation requires that these programs be developed in the most age-appropriate and developmentally appropriate ways.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions from committee? Seeing here none, Senator Jackson, would you like to close?
No, just briefly, we started at the college level because we knew we were seeing the symptoms of this, and then we took it to the high school level. And when you talk to high school students, they tell you have to start even earlier. And there's a lot of data about this, teaching young girls about self-image and self-esteem, teaching our children at their earliest ages about who they are and how they can better relate with others and treat each other, again, respectfully. And we discovered that the earlier we can start this, the more effective it will be as we go up the ladder in years, and hopefully have a more compassionate and empathetic society, one where we see less violence and greater respect and cooperation. So with that, I would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Without objection, we'll move this bill to the suspense file. Thank you. I see Senator Anderson is here. Senator Anderson, please approach the dais. Senator Anderson has one item. It does have a due pass recommendation, members. It's SB 952. Senator Anderson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. This bill, SB 952, simply empowers the California Pharmacy Board to certify providers who perform examinations for the pharmacy technicians. It's just that simple.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Good morning, Chair Lara and members. Pat Whalen, Ellison Wilson Advocacy here on behalf of National Health Career Association, the sponsor of the bill. As the Senator mentioned, this bill simply undoes what is currently a statutory monopoly for one vendor and opens it up to other people playing in the same market, and should provide consumers competition and more choice and accessibility.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
No file. Comments or questions from committee? Move the bill. There's a motion by our Vice Chairwoman, Senator Anderson. If there's any other questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Anderson, would you like to close?
Thank you for your kind consideration.
Thank you. There is a motion on the bill. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? Bates, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. De Leon? Hill? Hill, aye. Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? Nielsen, aye.
Yeah. That's 6-0. The measure passes. Thank you.
Thank you.